Hey everyone, it's great to see you. We're going to be checking on my bag in a pot planters today, and we're checking what I call the rim gap, which is that area around the edge that we've filled with all different kinds of annuals and perennials. And I really want to see what's doing well so that I can do the good things again next year and change up those things that aren't working. So here I have the planter that in a recent video, I took this hydrangea out of it and I lowered in a bag with this beautiful coleus and this potato vine. So I'm actually going to be lifting these interior bags out with my main thriller of the pot, and then we're going to see what's left. Oh, cool. It actually lifted the actual nursery pot out too. So do you want to get in close there? And you can see from the top, that's the pot riser that I have down the bottom. And then you can see all the roots here. This is the dirt in this rim gap that was packed around it. Now the nursery pot was supposed to stay in. So let me see if I can put that back in. This is the pot in the pot that stays there. And then my bag just lowers in. So if we look around the edge here, I have my lemon coral sedum that's doing really well. And these jazzberry supertunias are just going wild. These are the mini vistas. And let's see, when I step back a bit and look, both of these plants are doing really well. But what you really see is the jazzberry. If I were going to say there's one here that is just, superseding the other, eating the other up, it would be your petunia. But I still like how the lemon coral sedum is peeking out here. It actually isn't completely smothered, so that's good. I like this combination. And this has been eaten down twice by the hedgehog, and it has been trimmed back by me twice also. So I'm really just sort of keeping the jazzberry petunias here in check, and it's working really nicely. Now I can just add this right back in here, press it in and sort of tuck those little handles in so you don't even notice them. And we are all set and back together. I'll cover that a little bit here. There we go. And you never even know I took it apart. So let's go see how the others are doing. So here's another one that I've already taken this hydrangea out of, and I've put in my sweet potato vine and the coleus that we planted. I'm going to find those little hooks. Here we go. Okay. So the bag is now out of the pot. That's in the pot. And let's see how the rim gap is doing. So I have some of this beautiful superbena. Loving that. And it's poking through the back. It's not doing super great, but it's not terrible either. And I have some of my creeping Jenny, which is here, but it's not doing great. And it looks like I've lost the creeping Jenny that was over here. And I have one little tiny million bells here. So not bad, not terrific. Add that back in here. Tuck in those. I just love how easy it is to change these around. Okay, let's go find another pot. This pot, I really like this pot. It's this nice green color. It's a ceramic pot. I put it in the wrong place. So it's sort of like situated back here in this corner by my deck with a bush overlapping it here. It does get shade, which I thought was great for a hydrangea. And in here we had Froggy. Now Froggy was doing great. Froggy is the name of one of my hydrangeas, in case you didn't see that video. But the rim gap really suffered. It had enough sun to get to the hydrangea, but not really enough to get to this. So my lemon coral sedum did okay, and my creeping Jenny is still alive. But I think that these were some supertunias. Didn't get enough, they died, and this New Guinea impatient has not bloomed. You couldn't tell when the hydrangea was in here, which is great, but I'm thinking that this just needs a new location. That would be better, and then maybe I'll just put in some annuals in here next year, some begonias or something like that. So good to know, but not the best choice that I made so far. I'm showing you this planter here not because I'm proud of it, but because when you see a planter like this, you should go, oh, something is not working right. So let me take out my center. There goes the bag. So this is just we're having irrigation issues here. So there is no irrigation hitting this, and I did not realize this for too long. So surprisingly, the Superbena still is going a little bit, but everything else has really just gotten too crispy. So I'm in the process of figuring out how we're going to have our sprinkler system reach this particular area. Let's go look at a more cheerful pot. Over here we have my beautiful double pink rose, which is actually sending out a couple little blossoms here, but I believe this is the Imperial Blue Superbena. I cut this back about a week and a half to short it cut it right off, nice and short, and it's come back really, really well. So this is a good place for the Superbena. We're getting a lot of sun in this area, sun for the rose, sun for the Superbena. I'm very, very happy with this. I would lift the rose out, but it's kind of prickly. So I'm just going to leave it there and tell you that the rim gap is doing great. So this particular planter I created because City Line Venice here was really, really struggling. You can see a past video, I'll link it down below, where I planted it in, but it has just come back. It did bloom. I have now deadheaded it. It's looking great. And so let's see. It's a good spot for the hydrangea. Ow, all these. Ooh, I like this rim gap. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about this. This is sedum, and it doesn't really belong here. I broke it off, and I didn't know if it would reroot, so I stuck it in here one day, and it grew, and it's now going to bloom. So this needs to be dug out and put back in the garden, but I guess the rim gap is good for just saving pieces in too. Let's look at everything else though. I have a couple of coral bell, which are doing really well. This is the heuchera. And that's a perennial. So I can just leave this in the rim gap through the winter, and it will just be there next year. And then I have lots of great creeping jenny doing fabulous. And I have one fan flower here, Scaevola. And I think there might have been two to begin with, but that's okay. There's one now, and it is also doing well. So I feel like good place for the hydrangea, good place for all of these, even a good place for a sedum, even though it looks silly because it's so tall. So this is going to be a keeper, both in location and in the plants. Now I just have to get the City Line Venice back in. In this next pot, I have my next generation pistachio. Love this. You've seen pictures throughout the season. It has done fabulous. And let's see how everything did. Now, initially, I had planted begonias and heuchera around it. And you will notice that we have one begonia and one heuchera left. And this planter, as opposed to the one that got not enough water, just got waterlogged, and my begonias just rotted out, and my heuchera just disappeared. So I assume it was too wet for the heuchera too. Good to know here. I think what I'm going to do next year is leave this in this place because the hydrangea likes it, but something that really likes more water around the edge. Here we have bridal gown. This is sort of tucked back in here. It does not get a lot of sun. It does not get any water from the sprinkler. So it's been relying on me to remember that it is here, which has been a little tricky. So let's see how we are doing. Oh, that took out the inner pot too. Whew. It's fascinating though to see how it really keeps that line so well. Looking at the rim gap here, I had some begonias. These are still doing okay, and my three coral bell, my three heuchera are really doing well too. Now this heuchera is the one that I had taken and divided, and they all have rooted in nicely. They're small, but all three are still alive. So considering this is sort of tucked away back here, very happy with how this is doing. This is rhythmic blue hydrangea. Okay. That is so pretty. In fact, this rhythmic blue hydrangea is a reblooming one. So I deadheaded its whole first flush of flowers. There are buds coming on many of these, so we're gonna get a whole new flush of hydrangea flowers. I love it. So excited. But let's take a look at our rim gap. So I have a creeping jenny here, this is a purple Scaevola or fan flower. I have a purple Scaevola here and another creeping jenny. and something didn't make it here. I actually have another Keeping Jenny around the corner, so I'm gonna just plop that in. This is really working nicely, and I like the purple scaevola with the hydrangea. So very happy with this rim gap planting. This is Endless Summer Summer Crush. I have deadheaded it. It should send out some more blossoms. This is a tricky location for me because it doesn't really seem to get quite enough water. Put that down. Okay, so let's take a look at the rim gap. Yeah, you can tell it's really, really dry behind it. We have some of these cute flowers, which I always called monkey faces, and I don't think that's what they're really called at all, but we'll figure it out. This didn't make it, not sure what was planted there. And we have some of the lemon coral sedum not doing great. Yeah, this really did not do well, so I need to rethink this one for next year. There we go. One more. This is the last bag in a pot that we have, and I am so happy to end. We're ending on a high note here, which is good. This is City Line Vienna. Vienna did not look good at the beginning of the season. It came back, it has bloomed, I have deadheaded it, and it looks healthy, and I'm so happy. So let's see, boy, this has just grown in so well, I don't even think I can lift it out. Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you, you can see there's the pot in the bag, and everything's just grown so well around it. I'm gonna leave it for now. This is your lemon coral sedum, which, wow, this is huge. We have pink scaevola, and I had 3 of those, and no, 2, one here, and then I had a sweet potato vine way over here. And then I had added 3, and they're in here, rainbows and hosta. So there's one here, and there's one here, and there's one back here. Now they're still alive, but they are just really being engulfed by the other more vigorous plants. So I'm going to take those 3 hostas. It's a great idea to put hostas in one of these rim gaps, but this one's just doing so well that the hosta need to go somewhere else where they can really flourish. I am thrilled with this. We have a spigot that comes up real close, so this is getting plenty of water. I have not had to do anything to this, and it's just a great place. So this is a good example of good location, good choices on flowers. So this makes me feel better about the pots that didn't look so good. I have to come out and remind myself that gardening is all about trying things and seeing what works and what doesn't. So I really hope that you give this bag in a pot method a try, and that you really get creative and explore all these different options that you could try for this rim gap area. Thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next video.